So I'm Aron. So we were in the theatre, we were actually born into the theatre. And I suppose at that time, and I think it's something different to what happens now, is everybody volunteered in something. There was something that everybody was involved in, and our thing was the theatre. So other people had football or soccer or cricket, but we were involved in the theatre. And so in our late teenage, early 20s years, my brothers and I, we'd actually spend probably 30% of our time, whenever we weren't working, we'd be at the theatre doing stuff. So we almost lived there. I mean, some people actually, I remember one bloke actually did set himself up a bedroom. Like, he made a little set with a bedroom and he just slept there, you know. I won't mention his name. But we pretty much lived at the theatre, and we loved it. And as a hobby, it was fantastic because it was paid for by the people who came to see it. But that was, I suppose, from a social point of view, it was also another way that we met a lot of people, and you'd work closely with people and you'd really get to know them a little bit too intimately, you know. And some of those theatre people came with us to these fire gatherings that we'd have, or parties at our place. We were somehow a bit central to getting all of these different people together. Didn't realise it at the time, but and I think it was through our we were sort of being political activists on a local level, I suppose. So the two issues in the basin were the selling of the Salvation Army land and the Hindu temple, and we got involved in both of those and actually ended up on the Progress Association committee. And in doing that, I don't know how or why, but we ended up setting up our tea cafe, the Caldera Cafe. So yeah, every first Saturday of the month or whatever it was, we'd turn up and we'd set up this incredible structure that Marcus had built, and we'd serve tea for 50 cents a cup. And at the end of the day, whatever we'd made, we'd go over to the bottle-o and we'd buy some booze and we'd all sit around and drink that. We sort of instigated getting those two groups of people from the basin and from Olinda, and we got them together and to meet. Yeah, and we all took a lot of drugs. With the Hills people, it was all smoking joints rather than pipes and bongs and things, which was a huge difference. And it was all bushweed. It was all homegrown, and really a totally different species, you know. I think completely different to what's out there these days. Yeah. Biodynamic stuff was pretty good. When Marcus, Dean and I ended up at Ferndale, we were getting involved in biodynamics. So we'd do the 500 spraying and all of that kind of stuff. And really, it's kind of basic witchcraft, you know. So probably leads on to all of the other witchcraft that was going on in the place anyway. And yeah, that was sort of like a step up from just organic things, was biodynamics. And that was also a link that we had with all of the other, like a social link that we had with other people, was that we were all interested in organic food, biodynamic food, that kind of stuff. Our neighbour at Ferndale asked us if... No. Our neighbour at Ferndale asked if she could use our property for an event that they were having, and we said yeah, you know, whatever. It's more yours than it is ours. You've been here longer, you know. So we didn't really care that much, and so it was actually a meeting of her coven that she was having, and so it sort of was, I don't know, late in the afternoon. All of these people started turning up, and they were really very quiet people, you know, and they didn't really make conversation too much or anything, and they all turned up, and, like, you know, the car park was full with cars everywhere, and we all went out to the paddock, and all of the men went off in one direction and all of the women went off in another direction, and the men went finding rocks and sticks, and the women went off finding flowers, and they all came back, and then they built an altar and a huge bonfire, and they put a skull on top of the bonfire too, actually. And they had the north, south, east and west and everything, and Marcus and I were there with our gumboots on, and just sort of, you know, having a beer, and so they started the ceremony, and I don't remember all the words, you know, but then they passed around a cow's horn full of, they said it was stout, but it didn't quite taste like stout, you know. But yeah, so they did the whole ceremony and passed around the cow's horn, and we had a few drinks out of the cow's horn and not. But we had a party that we had a 21st to go to, so we took off and jumped in the car and zoomed off down to the basin and just parked my car straight into a tree and got out, went to this party, and Marcus and I stand there talking to each other, and we're finding it quite amazing that the spots on the walls from the mirror ball was staying still, and the room was moving. So then we worked out, actually, if we got a stick and we hit the mirror ball, it actually made the whole room do this, you know. So I don't think it was stout.